the 12-ounce Smith & Wesson 317. This is a gun I lusted over for a number of years, finally got a hold of one, and for the past 2 or so years I've been shooting it off and on here in the Nutnfancy project in preparation for this tabletop review. Hey guys, this is of course Nutnfancy TMP Year 4, and I love revolvers. Ruger put some great ones together. I love Smith's. Great quality levels, usually very accurate. So many great things about Smith & Wesson revolvers. And the 317 was on my list for a long time. Very excited to acquire one, test it. And I think probably the best philosophy of use, I'm going to jump right into it, for this gun would be just as it's marketed, and that is as a kit gun. Integration into perhaps a day hiking, backpacking, or even survival kit. If you can hit with it. I'm not kidding. I will talk about that as we go along in the details of this gun as I see them after having shot hundreds and hundreds of rounds through this gun. There are some big downsides to the gun, I am sad to say. You get the straight skinny when you come to a Nutnfancy gun review. I don't hold back. I love Smith. But these are significant downsides to the 317 as I see them. There are a few huge upsides, and I started off with a video on the major one, and that's it's lightweight. And getting back to POU, you're going to be hard pressed to beat that 12-ounce weight for an 8-shot pistol of whatever type. There's probably a couple out there that for whatever reason I'm not thinking of right now, but for an 8-shot self-integrated pistol, and I'm talking you don't need a magazine, you don't need optics, you don't need anything, the 317 is ideal just on weight alone, and that's, of course, no surprise, what attracted me to the gun. I'm going to come back to POU here in just a second, but let's jump into the Smith catalog, and we'll show you variations of the 317. The one you're looking at on the table is model, or I should say SKU number 160221. Official name is Model 317 Kit Gun. It also comes in a 1.87 inch barrel. This, of course, is the 3-inch barrel, my preferred version for sight radius, and what I thought to be were excellent sights. We'll talk about that. This is SKU, the 1.9 inch, we'll call it, barrel is 160222. That's slightly lighter. Then you have a Model 43C, not really marketed as a kit gun. I think that's more of a defensive gun, believe it or not, even in 22 long rifle. Yes, there's people who will use that. I'll talk about that here in a sec. This is SKU 103043 of the Model 43C, fixed sights. And this is actually the stainless steel version, the Model 63, still being produced. I saw one in a gun store not too long ago. I will tell you right now, I prefer that over the aluminum one. Yep, it's heavier at 26 ounces. I'll tell you why as we go along here. That's SKU number 162634, 8-shot 3-inch barrel. And not too long ago, I reviewed my very, very beloved Smith & Wesson 617. We're going to make reference to that. That's SKU 16584. It also comes in a less preferred, at least by me, 6-inch barrel. Okay, back to philosophies of use. Kit gun, survival kit. I did say if you can hit with it. At 12 ounces, guys, this is a very difficult gun to shoot well, coupled with a very stiff trigger that is necessary for reliable ignition on the 22 rimfire ammo. Good luck. It's difficult. You go beyond 7 yards and you shoot something squirrel sized. That's why I say a big if. I'll talk and show you some results and accuracy as proof of what I'm talking about. But it is lightweight, it is capable, it's mostly reliable. What? It's not 100% reliable? No, it's not. I know, it surprises me too. I'm just going to leave it at that. POU defensive gun. Would I ever carry this as a defensive option? Heck no. No way. Not with so many other lightweight options. I mean, I've got a 13-ounce Kel-Tec PF9 I can pack, 9 mil. That's unloaded, of course. You know, cars, got the Ruger LC9, Beretta Nano, on and on we go. Why would I go with 22 long rifle? I think the answer to that question is it wouldn't be for us. It might be for someone who's extremely recoil shy and not gun savvy. Perhaps a wife or girlfriend. And a lot of those gals do not dig shooting any kind of center fire pistol at all. They hate it. And so I think the answer would be maybe a 317. Would you rather have them carry that or nothing? 12 ounces, very minimal recoil. Oh, one thing I forgot to show you, by the way, is they do have the 22 Magnum version, I think, and that's going to be model 350 PD. I'm sorry, 351 PD. You can see the skew there. That's a 7-shot 22 Magnum. To me, that makes a lot more sense as a carry gun. A little bit more blast. 22 Magnum might be equivalent to a 22 long rifle coming out of a rifle length barrel. Still a rimfire. Better having something than nothing for those folks is what I'll say on the 317. So defensive use, not ideal. 22 surely has taken its share of lives, both in the bad guy sector and I think the good guy sector too. I'm talking about homeowners that for whatever reason that's just what they had on hand and they defended themselves with it. So 22 long rifle can get the job done, not preferred, for both power and also for the rimfire ignition reliability. If you use higher quality ammo, you probably won't have a problem with it these days. Okay, so there you go. There's 2 POUs, and then finally I want to say recreational philosophy of use. No. That may surprise you that I say that. Recreational means that I'm just going out to the shooting range and I'm shooting it for fun. I've said this in so many pistol reviews. I don't need a lightweight gun there, and actually it's a detriment to me shooting the pistol well. It's kind of unpleasant. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but not in recoil, but in just how difficult the gun is to hold on target. That's why I love that 617. It's very stable. It's full weight. It's full size. It mimics the 686 and other full size 357, 38 so well. It's a dream to shoot. It's fun to shoot. This is much more difficult. Recreationally, not a great option. And when I get to reliability, I'm going to tell you the real reason I don't recommend this particular gun recreationally. There you go. POUs, down and dirty, size and weight. We already hit it. 12 ounces, super lightweight. It's super compact. It's built on a J-frame. And that is a good thing when we get to accessories because it'll fit a lot of those J-frame accessories. Not much else to say on that. Going right into firepower, it's outstanding. I have snap caps in here right now because I'm going to pull the trigger for you guys. These are just polymer 22 long rifle snap caps. 8 rounds though, an 11-ounce superb quality revolver is what attracted me to the Smith & Wesson 317. That's phenomenal. And I'm not going to spend any video time right now talking about competitive options. If and where they exist, you guys can do that, whether it's from Taurus or whoever else. I'm just going to concentrate on this. 8 rounds, excellent for this gun. Firepower is just amazing. That's about all I can say on that. We'll get to accessories, talk about a speed loader option you might want. And now, the plot thickens. If you can hit anything with it, Nutnfancy, yeah, it's lightweight, difficult to shoot, talked about that, stiff trigger. Here's the accuracy obtained here in the Nutnfancy project by recent shooting. I've been shooting this gun since 2010. Didn't do a great job of saving some targets or even taking pictures of the targets, but the results I'm going to show you right now are pretty much on par with what you can expect. This is actually yesterday I shot this, and this was with Ely Prime, this ammo right here. It's basically a matched 22 long rifle. And this is rested from a bench. There's a reason why I think accuracy suffers a little bit in the 317. We'll talk about that when we get to ergonomics. Okay groups, I'm not super impressed with them. This is only 7 yards. We say only 7 yards, but when I go to a shooting range, it's so funny. I don't see a lot of people rolling their targets down to 7 yards and shooting at it. I shouldn't say a lot. I see some, but not too many. Most of them are like 5 yards, whatever. 7 standing's not a give me like most people think it is to achieve a good group. And again, this isn't standing. This was rested. I'll roll footage in somewhere along the way. That's not a good group at 7 yards. I'm just going to flat out say it. It would have been decent had that flyer not happened. And I'm taking my time. I'm being very careful. I think I'm fanning it to single action trigger pull. Not great, not great. If it was all in this inner circle, I would have been very gratified to see that. Now, oftentimes with revolvers, I see that it's difficult to achieve, I'm talking rimfire revolvers especially, of all brands, it's difficult to achieve really good accuracy. Even with that 617, I think I said this. Where we go from here? Okay, this is Winchester Super X. This is probably 2 cylinders full. This is 7 yards standing, not on from the rest. This is yesterday as well. Double action and single action. It's okay. I'd really like it to be within that inner circle. Maybe I'm picky. I don't know. It's okay. And then we did some more 7-yard shooting at a different range with a variety of loads. And this is what I came up with. So this is Tactical Doodle shooting at Ely Prime Match. That's that same match ammo. Better. Opens it up here though. 21 feet, 7 yards. CCI mini mags, that's me shooting. Not too impressed with that. Sorry, just not. Just show you as it comes out. Here's Tactical Doodle with CCI. He did better. That's probably the best group out of standard ammo. CCI usually shoots really good out of most of the guns we send it out of. And I had some others here too. Where did they go? Here we go. Remington Subsonic. This is me shooting it. I actually had a rockin' group going, and then I sailed these two at 21 feet. So I'm going to classify the accuracy out of the 317 as average. Not poor, it's just average. Maybe it's because there's 8 shots, you know, there's some cylinders got to go all the way around, whatever. I find the tolerance in the gun as being tight, so if we wiggle the cylinder back and forth, it's dirty from a lot of shooting. That's how I review guns nowadays. It's normal. It's normal Smith & Wesson quality. Cylinder gap is basically really tight as well. I don't see any issues there. And it's dirty from some carbon. Haven't cleaned it yet. I don't know. Actually, I do know. One would be the trigger. Not on this particular sample, but, and I'll jump right into it right now, Ergonomics. It's going to be the freaking sights on the thing. And I'll tell you, this has been just the hugest problem on this particular gun for me, because I hated the V rear sight on the 317. I'll roll in a picture. I just detest it. Some of you guys will love it and you'll say, well, I shoot really well with it. It's fast. It's easy to acquire. I've shot V sights on lots of different, not lots, a few different pistols here in TMP, and I've never liked them. I find myself spending more time trying to figure out the alignment and precision of V sights, at least in testing. I'm not talking about defensive encounters here, but testing and trying to show what the gun's capable of, than I would just shooting conventional square-bladed sights. And so thus began the odyssey of trying to retrofit this gun with what is eventually on there, and that is a square-bladed sight. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but let me tell you, it took like 6 months of talking to Smith & Wesson, talking to their reps. Do you have square-bladed sights for that? No, we don't. None fit it. And I'm thinking, well, doesn't the 63 come with square-bladed sights? Yes, it does. Well, can I order those sights? We're not sure if they have those. And so I'd go through on their website, researching all types of different sight options. Tried installing some myself. I lost pieces, bought a flaring tool. Oh my gosh, it was just a nightmare. Found out that I had the wrong front sight on it, and on it went. Finally, what I did is just sent the gun to Smith & Wesson. TMP paid for it to get it retrofitted, and the whole escapade cost about $150 just to get this sight set up on the 317. And it's still not right, because when I wrote the letter, I said, hey, can you guys put square-bladed sights? And I want conventional sights on it. I don't want the high-vis. They sent me back the high-vis. And the reason I wasn't so stoked on it is because I'm still lacking precision with the current sight picture. So I have a very nice square blade that we see on all kinds of Smith & Wesson revolvers Windage and elevation adjustable on the 63 and the 317, by the way. And you can note, yes, it's cranked all the way over to the left because for whatever reason, when they sent it back, it wasn't zeroed right. So that's where it needs to be for my eyes. Yeah, I know. It's a rounded front sight, though, and so it doesn't mate well. And this is getting to the accuracy question, and that's why I'm spending airtime on it. For me, and I think most shooters, it will not mate well because it's a round, shape trying to fit in a square peg. Well, is that big of a deal? Well, yeah, kind of, I think, because then you're not sure exactly where it is. And when you look at the target, you're not getting that sight consistency, and that's the group you're getting. My point being is if we were to equip this with truly conventional and precise sights that the old kit guns that Smith & Wesson used to make had on them. I'm talking conventional iron sights. Oh, what was that one they used to make a long time ago? Was it the 317 kit gun? 12.5 ounce? I think that had conventional sights. I think you'd see these groups shrink down. Ergonomically, the sights are a huge miss as they come from the factory 317. This is an improvement as I have spent time doing. It is actually a big improvement of the rear V blade, but still we're lacking precision in the gun. Getting back to philosophy of use, kit gun. I think much more likely than us using the gun to procure small game in rule of law, I think more likely is you're going to use your Smith & Wesson 317 for plinking and to have fun. Getting back to the recreational philosophy of use, you want it to be accurate, to hit with it easily. I can take the lightweight and knowing that I'm going to have to be very careful on my marksmanship fundamentals, but if I don't have the sights that lead me or enable me to hit a tin can at 25 yards, I become unenthusiastic about a recreational gun. That's not fun for me. You should be able to hit a tin can at 25 yards with a 317. Now I shot it, I think I did run the lead drill, no, trench warfare drill with it. It did okay. It wasn't stellar if I remember right. I might roll in some footage here or there. It did okay. The accuracy is what it is. Other ergonomic issues are, well, they're good and bad. The good is the rubber grip that comes with it. It's J-frame. If you don't like it, you can swap it out. That's good. Cylinder release where it always is for J-frames. That's good. Locking pawl on the front and the back like Smith & Wessons do. No issues on the crane. How about the ejection on it? Pretty good. You can see how far it lifts the cartridges out. As in all J-frames, you might have to pop it smartly, and this will kind of jump ahead to reliability. And why I don't recommend it for recreational. When this gun heats up, you're going to have a hard time ejecting it out of the aluminum cylinder. And I think that's the reason why. We would shoot the 317, get it warm, if not hot, and immediately it seemed very difficult to extract some of the shells. You'd actually have to pound on it with the palm of your hand. Maybe I saw that to some degree with a stainless steel frame 617, but it was very rare. That takes the fun out of it when we're talking again about having fun with the pistol. It's not fun when you're banging on it. And the aluminum cylinder I think is good for shooting some rounds, in other words maybe 3 cylinders full and then letting the gun cool off. Your mileage may vary. Now, it even got worse, again this is more reliability stuff, that sometimes the gun would just completely lock up. So actually yesterday I'm shooting CCIs at the range, I'm pulling the trigger and the gun just nothing. I don't know if it's the rim expanding and rubbing against the back of the frame, could be. Nothing though. So we do our tap rack bang, smack that cylinder, make sure it's all the way in. Yeah, nothing. Then I just release the cylinder, do it again, and it would keep going. I'm really not able to provide you a definitive reason as to why, and it happened with certain loads. I shot CCIs after that, and they were fine. You know, the Ely Primes, those cycled fine. Shot the Aguila Super Extra. Those are awesome subsonic 22 loads. They shot fine. Just keep it in mind. Ergonomically, trigger. As it comes out of the box, it's very stiff, almost brutal, needed for reliability. I took this gun to Terry G. Yoda of Impact Guns there in Ogden. He did a trigger job for me. He wouldn't swap any springs for me. Most gunsmiths won't on rimfire revolvers. I did that and swapped in a Wolf trigger, hammer spring. And so now the double action is much smoother. The single action is just sweet as can be. I didn't measure the double action. The single action is 2 pounds. Oh, dudes. Glass. The reason I went to all the effort and expense of buying a trigger job from Terry and the trigger kit is because I wanted to see if I could improve the accuracy. You know, I'm thinking, well, that's a really stiff trigger, double action. It isn't now. It's actually a really smooth. I estimate maybe about 10 pounds. My trigger scale doesn't go up that high. Didn't improve the accuracy. It's still funner to shoot. Didn't improve the accuracy. Ergonomics. The overall makeup, frame, feel, balance, just like any J frame. That's about all I'll say. I probably forgot. Oh, I'll say the hammer. The hammer doesn't have any sharp corners on it. That's a good thing. Adjustable sights, I mentioned that. Field strip and maintenance. I'll say this. Maintenance is a pain in the butt with revolvers, especially 22 long rifle revolvers. And especially ones that have 8 cylinders. It is nightmarish. And it gets worse. Being an aluminum cylinder gun, this is one you have to clean a lot. How often is a lot? Probably every 200 rounds would be my recommendation if you want it to not lock up very often. And you want those empty shell casings to pop out readily. Maybe that's too frequent, but at 300 rounds, I'm thinking about cleaning it. You know, clean your forcing cone the way we always do. Maybe some lead removal cloth, whatever you want to do. You can take the cylinder off, field strip it that way. You've got like basically 9 barrels to clean with this gun. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. Lubricate it back here, up there. I just put a little Slip 2000 something on it. By the way, that has a very thin barrel sleeve in that aluminum frame. Very thin. I don't think it's a durability issue, but it's just something to be aware of. And I wonder if it is when I'm heating the gun up, you're getting some, I don't know, heating of the barrel and uneven stresses in there, leading to the accuracy that I showed you. I don't know. Could be. The field strip is easy. The maintenance is going to be a pain in the butt. Accessories and versatility. It is a J-frame. Different grips, mentioned that. Sights, good luck. I checked out that Model 63 in the store. The one I saw has conventional, or not conventional, but it basically has this sight set up on it. So it has like a front high-vis bead and this one. Exactly, just this. It's better sight arrangement than this one. And Smith & Wesson may have changed it. I don't know. I don't know if they're shipping. Maybe they've got so many complaints with that V rear sight. They should. And they changed it out. I don't know. Other accessories as far as holsters go, I didn't really look into that. You know, but again, there's a lot of 3-inch J-frames out there. I'm talking Smith & Wesson, so should be right in line with that. The speed loader. 8-shot. If you are going to use this recreationally and you want to run a 317, you need speed loaders to do it right. I mentioned that in the 617 review. You know, putting these in, even with Bianchi speed strips or by hand, is just slow. 8 charging holes. You might get a little bit faster at it. I recommend, and I'll roll in a screenshot right here, the Speed Bees 8-shot reloaders. They're polymer. They're just like the DS10s I showed you for the 617. I don't see any DS8s out there. Production ones for this gun. Those are polymer spring reloaders for this revolver. Highly recommended, even though they are very expensive. $30 each, and then if you buy the Otter box that stores a whole bunch of them preloaded, that's $60. You can spend a lot of money on those speed loaders. Okay, and you might see some guys in the comments that have the 317, and maybe they don't have any of the issues that I've seen, but I feel confident in my data I'm providing you guys because it is the result of a lot of shooting. It's real on the value. Value sucks. It sucks. This is an expensive 22 pistol, about $650, $630 in 2012 dollars. I would be more apt to give it a higher rating if it performed better, obviously. Value is not all about money. Do I need to remind you of that? In fact, it has really less to do with money than it does performance of a pistol. knife, whatever. Value is how it performs and how it connects to us. If this was supremely accurate, supremely reliable, you know, it's shooting a 1-inch group at heck 7 yards, then I would be more apt to say value is more worth it. I'll still ding it as being expensive, but it still has value. You see the difference? If you're going to charge $650 for a handgun, it probably ought to deliver that. The 617 sure delivers. That has value to it. It's accurate, reliable, all the other stuff. There you go. It's not that great. It's expensive. Even more so if you get speed loaders. Durability and reliability. I wonder about the reliability of hard use of an aluminum, all aluminum 22 pistol. Let's say you're running this in one of my drills like trench warfare and you run it month after month, day after day, thousands of rounds. How durable is this going to be? I worry about the lockup. I worry about when these get sticky and I really slam my palm down to do the reloads. Am I going to bend the ejector rod? It's the same ejector rod in the stainless steel 63. But just tweaking the aluminum, is it going to last? I really don't know the answer to that question. In the mini rounds shot here in TMP, though, I saw no issues. And we did shoot it a lot. But I just wonder, I think getting back to the Model 63 stainless steel, and I mentioned this early on, in philosophy of use, this is going to be a better gun for you. Weight's not critical then. In fact, the 26 ounces of this gun is going to be an advantage to shoot it better with the Model 63 SKU 162 634. It's a better option recreationally. I think the reliability of the stainless steel 22 revolvers is without question probably pretty good on these two. I just don't know though. Track record. And in the video. Nutnfancy tabletop review, Smith & Wesson 317. Mixed bag. Kind of bad. I'll start with the bad stuff. I'll end with the good stuff. It's expensive. The cylinder locked up repeatedly during shooting of this gun. It's not inaccurate, but it's less accurate, the 317. Mostly due probably to the sights. It's difficult to shoot well because it's so lightweight. The sights I've hit on that pretty hard, and it has a very stiff trigger, which is an outgrowth of the 22 long rifle mechanism, or chambering I should say. Those are the downsides. The upsides are that it is extremely light and it holds 8 shots, the 317. Getting back to the first of the video, survival kit gun, I think it is still a great option for survival kits. I mean, good luck, again, trying to find a 12-ounce pistol with 8 shots in it. Tough to do. Really tough to do. Especially the lightweight of the rimfire ammunition, that probably needs to be factored into your kit choice. If you go centerfire option, maybe PF9, car, whatever, it's going to be heavier still. You'll be able to carry much more rounds for rimfire than you would centerfire. But Nutnfancy said you're going to have a hard time hitting something with it. Yeah, small game, you just might. And to me, being able to shoot a squirrel at 25 yards, maybe put some food in your mouth, would be a necessity. I think you're going to be challenged doing it with this one. There you go. That's my tabletop review. Kind of bummed on the 317, to be honest with you. Kind of bummed for the reasons mentioned. Out.